Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
This is Autoline Daily for Friday, September 17, 2010, and now the news. Yesterday, we reported about how China wants to dominate the global automotive industry. Today, it's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It reported that the Chinese government is drafting up a new policy to force foreign automakers to give their latest hybrid and electric vehicle technology to their Chinese joint venture partners. China wants to be the global leader in this technology before the decade is out. In fact, Toyota has postponed the introduction of the Prius in China until these rules are clarified. By law, foreign automakers must form a joint venture with a Chinese partner and take a minority position in the company. Up to now, suppliers have been exempt from this rule, but it seems like it may now affect them as well when it comes to making components for hybrids and electric vehicles. While this policy is still in draft form, foreign automakers are dead set against it, but none of them will say so publicly for fear of being barred from the booming Chinese market. Speaking of joint ventures in China, Gasgoo reports that Toyota plans to form a JV with Brilliance Automotive to make specialty vehicles. Brilliance already has a joint venture with Mercedes-Benz to do the same thing. And just to show how incestuous these relations in the auto industry are getting to be, the AP reports that Mercedes is looking at licensing hybrid technology from Toyota. And while automakers are forming more and more partnerships with other automakers, Fiat shareholders just approved a plan to break the company into two separate parts. The AFP reports that the company will be split into Fiat Auto and Fiat Industrial. Fiat Auto will have all the car brands, including Fiat, Lancia, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Maserati, and all the component operations. Fiat Industrial will include its commercial truck company called Iveco and its agricultural tractor company known as CNH. Fiat CEO Sergio Marchionne says this will give Fiat Auto greater freedom to operate as it sees fit. More here on the upcoming Paris Auto Show. Here's a sneak peek at 4 cars Chevy will unveil there. First up, the redesigned Aveo. Looks similar to the Aveo RS concept that was shown at the Detroit Auto Show this year, but it's a bit more toned down. In Europe, the new Aveo will be available with 3 gasoline engines and 2 diesels with stop-start technology. The Aveo goes on sale next summer. Next up, the Captiva, which has a new front-end design and a redesigned interior. The SUV features 3 rows and can seat up to 7 people. The new engine lineup consists of 2 gas engines and 2 turbo diesels, which can be mated to a new 6-speed manual or automatic transmissions. The Captiva goes on sale in Europe next spring. Chevy will also show a vehicle that I know some of you have been interested in, the Cruze hatchback. Not a whole lot of details on this car, and I'd imagine it comes with the same powertrain and features as the sedan. The press release didn't mention what will be available in this car, and the Cruze hatchback goes on sale in Europe next year. And finally, the Chevy Orlando will make its world premiere in Paris. It's based on the concept shown 2 years ago at the same show. The van features 3 rows of theater-style seating for up to 7 passengers. It'll be offered with 3 engine choices, 1 gas and 2 diesels. Production starts this October, and it'll go on sale across Europe early next year. Hey, are car thieves getting lazy? In the U.S., car theft is at its lowest level in 20 years. According to Consumer Reports, nearly 800,000 vehicles were stolen last year, but that's a 17% drop based on data from the FBI. That's the good news. The bad news is only 42% of those vehicles were recovered, and that's the lowest in 25 years. The FBI says more sophisticated thieves are why recoveries are so low. Sales at Scion have fallen off a cliff in the last couple of years, but Toyota says that the brand is still doing what it was supposed to be doing. Sound confusing? We'll get it straightened out right after the break.
Introducing Bridgestone's 3rd generation of run-flat tires with groundbreaking new Bridgestone technologies. Bridgestone run-flat tires offer improved ride comfort, lower rolling resistance, and improved wear while giving you the peace of mind and comfort you need.
My guest on Autoline Detroit this weekend is Jack Hollis, the vice president in charge of Scion. Even though sales at Scion have plummeted, Hollis says they have a lot of new products coming that will revive the brand, and besides, he says Scion is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, bringing in buyers who would otherwise not set foot in a Toyota store. Here's a clip from that interview.
Mike, I've been with our company about 17 years, spent most of my time both at the Toyota side, majority of it in the Toyota side, and a few years on the Lexus side. And when I came to Scion about 3 years ago, I had some of the similar questions about how we would do that, how does it work. So I would tell you that the intent was always, when we put the Scion showroom requirement in the Toyota showroom itself, was to be able to have this youthful brand within that Toyota framework. The goal by far and for sure was to bring them in, attract consumers who wouldn't have necessarily been attracted to Toyota. Bring them in, sell them a car, get them into a Scion. But then also through the dealership network, give them such a great experience with them that they'd want to come back to that dealership to experience other vehicles, especially if we can get them as young, to then be able to transfer them as they age and kind of move into different life stages, broaden then their horizons. I'm really excited to say 71% of all the Scion buyers to date are new to the brand. It means they've never purchased a Scion, a Toyota, or a Lexus before. That's 71%, much greater than the original plan was. And that's still today, even with the smaller numbers, we're still getting those conquest brand new buyers. The bigger number, and probably the number that answers it directly your question, but almost 60% of those people who buy a Scion buy a second Scion, Toyota, or Lexus. Majority of them being Toyota. So I think it has worked. People's life stages have changed. They go through, and the replacement for each one of those vehicles, the original XA and B and C, have all been, the number one model change in new, have always been a Toyota model, differing between being a truck or a Camry or a Corolla. But the model is definitely working. That's why, even though the sales has decreased below where we'd want it to be, and now coming back to where we do want it to be, we're really confident because we haven't, we're still getting the buyer that we wanted. And that does feel good, and I think that the model is working.
You can watch that entire interview with Jack Hollis from Scion at our website, AutolineDetroit.tv, where he gives a lot more specific information of how he plans to get Scion back on its feet. And by the way, joining me for that interview are Mike Ramsey from the Wall Street Journal and Greg Gardner from the Detroit Free Press. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Monday.